Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real tonight, something that might just shift the way you see yourself. See, too many women walking around feeling like they lost something, like they did something wrong, like they weren't enough. But baby, let me make it crystal clear for you. You didn't lose him. He lost you. Let me break something down for you that a lot of people out here need to hear, and I mean really hear deep in their spirit. Just because somebody didn't recognize your worth doesn't mean it ain't there. Let me say that again for the folks in the back. Just because someone failed to see your value doesn't mean you ain't valuable. Your worth ain't determined by how someone treated you. You are not a receipt that loses value after time. You are not a coupon with an expiration date. You are a woman with substance, soul, and a spirit that can't be duplicated. Now, see, what happens is you meet somebody, you give them your time, your energy, your love. You show up for them. You pour into them. You care about what they care about. You love them past their flaws, past their doubts, and past their own brokenness. And in return, you expect to be loved with the same kind of intentionality, the same kind of consistency, the same kind of honor. But instead, they play with you, they overlook you, they take you for granted, and eventually they walk away. Or worse, they make you feel like you're the one who lost out. But baby, that's a lie. That is one of the biggest lies the devil ever whispered into a woman's heart. You didn't lose anything. He did. You didn't lose love. You lost a distraction. You didn't lose a man. You lost a person who didn't know how to cherish a woman like you. He didn't walk away because you weren't enough. He walked away because he couldn't handle more than enough. You gave him the kind of love some men pray for and aren't prepared to receive. Let's give one thing straight. You are not replaceable. There is only one of you. Your laugh, your loyalty, the way you love, the way you make a man feel when he's down, the way you believe in people even when they don't believe in themselves, all that, that's your signature. That's your God-given gift. And when a man walks away from that, he ain't walking away from just a woman. He's walking away from a once-in-a-lifetime experience. See, too many women let rejection define them. Too many good-hearted, solid women sit at home wondering what they could have done differently. Could they have been quieter, less emotional, more patient, more forgiving? Listen to me. Don't you ever shrink yourself to fit someone else's comfort zone. Don't you ever dim your light so somebody else can feel bigger. If he couldn't see your value, it's because he wasn't ready to handle it. Not because it wasn't there. You're not just a pretty face. Your peace, your purpose, your potential. And I don't care who left. I don't care who ghosted, who cheated, who lied. You were never the problem. And if you were, it was only because you were too real in a world that celebrates the fake. Sometimes God removes people from your life because they were never meant to go where you're headed. And sometimes he lets a man fumble you so you can finally see that your value doesn't need validation. You were whole before he came. You're still whole after he left. The breakup didn't break you, it built you. And the next time someone steps into your world, they better come correct. Because now you know what you bring to the table, and if they don't match your energy, they don't get a seat. You are not replaceable. You are rare. And just because he didn't see it Don't mean someone else won't. But more importantly, don't wait for someone else to confirm it. Know it, walk in it, breathe in it, live like the masterpiece you are. Because the moment you do, the world will have no choice but to recognize the woman he should have held on to when he had the chance. Me, go ahead and speak a truth that's going to hit home for somebody out there. Walking away does not make you weak. Walking away, especially when you still love somebody, takes a kind of strength most people can't even imagine. It's easy to stay. It's easy to keep trying, to keep explaining yourself, to keep hoping they'll change. But choosing to let go, that ain't weakness. That's a woman with dignity who finally got tired of begging to be seen. You know how many people stay in situations that are breaking them little by little every single day? Not because they're happy, not because they're thriving, but because they're scared. Scared to be alone. Scared to start over. Scared of what people might say, so they stay. And every day they lose a little more of themselves in the name of love. But you had the courage to do what most won't. You walked away. That don't make you soft. That makes you solid. See, it's not about giving up. It's about choosing yourself. There comes a moment in every strong woman's life where she has to stop trying to prove her worth to someone who's committed to misunderstanding it. You can only explain your heart so many times. You can only forgive so many broken promises. At some point, you have to say, I love you, but I love me more. That right there is strength. That right there is dignity. People love to paint women who walk away as dramatic or bitter. Nah, let's fix that narrative right now. There is nothing bitter about a woman who finally decided her peace was more important than chaos disguised as love. There's nothing dramatic about walking away from someone who constantly made you question your own worth. That ain't bitterness. That's self-respect. That ain't drama. That's healing. If you know how strong you have to be to walk away from someone you prayed for, someone you dreamed about, someone you invested in, you gave them time, you gave them energy, you gave them access to parts of your heart no one else ever got. You stood by them when they were down. You believed in them when they didn't believe in themselves. You loved them in their ugly seasons. And in return, they gave you excuses. Silence, betrayal, or disrespect. And when that became too heavy to carry, you didn't lose it. You didn't fight dirty. You didn't try to destroy them on your way out. You packed your heart, gathered your strength, and you walked away with your head held high. And baby, there's nothing more powerful than that. That's not weakness. That's not quitting. That's you choosing not to settle for less than what you know you deserve. Let's be real. You could have stayed. You could have played it safe. But you chose freedom. You chose healing. You chose to rebuild. And maybe your voice trembled. Maybe your hands shook when you walked out that door. Maybe you cried behind the wheel or on the bathroom floor. But you still walked. And every step you took after that, that was a step toward the woman you were always meant to be. Strength ain't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet goodbye. Sometimes it's blocking a number without sending one last message. Sometimes it's letting the phone ring and not picking up. Sometimes it's getting dressed, showing up and smiling even when your heart still remembers the pain. But you keep moving. That's power. That's grace. That's dig. So no, don't let anybody make you feel bad for choosing peace over pain. Don't let anybody make you feel guilty for wanting more. Walking away didn't make you weak. It made you wiser. It made you stronger. It made you whole again. And one day, when you look back, you'll see that walking away wasn't the end of your story. It was the start of the chapter where you finally came home to yourself. A good woman doesn't walk away because she stopped loving you. She walks away because she finally realized she was the only one trying. She gave and gave and gave until there was nothing left to pour. She prayed. She forgave. She stayed up late waiting for you to change. She bent herself backward just to keep the peace. And when she saw that none of it mattered, when she realized her presence was being taken for granted, she didn't explode. She didn't curse you out. She didn't burn bridges. She just disappeared. And that disappearance, that's loud. Because let me tell you something. You don't know the value of her presence until it becomes a memory. You don't realize how much light she brought into your life until one day you come home and it's cold, it's quiet. The energy shifts, the warmth is gone, right? The softness of her voice, the way she used to ask if you ate, the way she used to pray for you behind your back, the way she kept the house, kept your soul, kept you grounded, all of it gone. And now silence is screaming. You see, a woman like that, she doesn't do petty. She doesn't do revenge. She doesn't need to prove anything when she walks away because her absence becomes the lesson. Her absence becomes the echo in your empty nights, the weight in your chest when you try to move on and realize no one else loves like she did. You'll be out there looking for pieces of her in every new face, every new situation, and none of it will measure up. You see, men don't always feel the loss when she leaves. They feel it when she doesn't come back. That's when it hits. When she stops checking in, when she stops answering, when her name doesn't show up on your phone anymore, when she don't pray for you anymore, when she ain't in your corner clapping anymore, when you look around and she's not in your life or your future, just your past. That's when it gets loud. A good woman doesn't just leave, she leaves a void. Because she didn't just exist in your life, she invested in it, she nurtured it, she built something with you. And when she's gone, the foundation shakes. You start realizing it wasn't just about her smile or the way she made you feel. It was about the way she made you better. And now that she's gone, you feel smaller. That kind of woman, she's rare. She's not the one blowing up your phone or begging you to see her. She loved you enough to let go without a fight. Because fighting for someone who won't fight back is a battle already lost. She leaves not because she doesn't care, but because she finally realized you didn't. And that kind of quiet exit, it'll haunt you. It'll echo every time you try to find her in someone else and fail. So don't get it twisted. When she goes quiet, don't think she's weak. There's power. There's dignity. That's a woman who realized her worth and decided her peace mattered more than staying in a place where she wasn't valued. And once a good woman leaves like that, most times she ain't ever coming back. And you'll spend the rest of your life realizing she was the one thing you should have never let slip away. Let's be real about something a lot of people don't want to admit. When a man walks away from a good woman, he's not just walking away from a relationship. He's walking away from loyalty, from love, from real day one support that you can't just find anywhere. He didn't just lose a woman, he lost a foundation. The kind that holds things up when life starts trying to tear them down. See, Anybody can be there when the sun is shining, when the money's good, when everything looks perfect on the outside. But a real woman, a loyal woman, she's there when it gets dark, when you doubt yourself, when life knocks you down and you ain't sure how you're going to get back up. That's when she steps in. That's when she becomes your shelter, your prayer warrior, your number one fan. And if a man walks away from that, from a woman who stood beside him through storms, then he didn't just walk away from love. He walked away from a miracle he didn't recognize when it was standing right next to him. You got to understand, a good woman loves differently. When she's in, she's all the way in. She invests her time, her heart, her soul. She learns your triggers, your fears, your past. She listens to the things you say and the things you're too broken to say. And she still chooses you, not because you're perfect, but because she believes in the man you're trying to become. That ain't just love. That's loyalty. But the problem is, loyalty like that is often invisible to the one receiving it until it's gone. Too many men think a woman's consistency is guaranteed. They think because she always forgives, she always stays, she always gives, that she always will. But let me tell you something. When a loyal woman finally gets tired, when she finally realizes she's giving to someone who keeps taking and never pouring back, she don't yell, he yell back and just stops. And when she stops, that's when the reality hits. Because all of a sudden, there's no one asking how your day was, no one praying for you at night, no one keeping you grounded when your mind is spiraling, no one reminding you who you are when life makes you forget. That's not just losing a woman. That's losing your anchor. Let's call it what it is. Some men don't leave because they don't love her. They leave because they can't handle being loved that deeply. They don't know what to do with a woman who sees through them and still chooses them. So they self-sabotage. They pull away. They chase distractions. They confuse peace with boredom. And by the time they realize what they had, it's too late. She's gone, and everything they try to replace her with just leaves them empty. Because here's the truth. You can find another body. You can find a pretty face. You can even find someone who'll keep you company. But finding someone who's loyal to your soul, someone who'll stick around when you ain't got nothing but a dream and a tired heart, that kind of woman ain't common. That kind of love ain't light. It's heavy because it's real. And real love, real support, that's rare air. So when a man walks away from that, he ain't just walking away from affection. He's walking away from his safety net, from the person who saw the king in him when he was still living like a pawn. And that decision, that mistake, it's one that'll follow him because years from now, when he's scrolling through memories or staring at the ceiling in the middle of the night, he's going to realize he didn't just lose a woman. He lost the one who loved him back to life. And let me tell you something that needs to be understood loud and clear. When you see that woman glowing, smiling, shining after she walked away, don't confuse it with revenge. That ain't her trying to make anyone jealous. That's not her out to prove something. That's recovery. That's healing. That's what it looks like when a woman finally starts choosing herself after choosing the wrong person for too long. See, she used to wake up heavy with confusion, doubt, heartbreak. She used to question everything, wondering why she wasn't enough, why the love she gave wasn't returned the same way, why she kept being the one who stayed while he kept pulling away. Her smile used to be forced. Her laugh was hollow. She walked through life exhausted, not physically, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally drained from loving someone who didn't know how to love her back. But one day, something in her snapped. Not in a bitter way, not in an angry way. Something just clicked. She realized that being broken for someone else's comfort was a price she wasn't willing to pay anymore. She got tired of being the strong one, the patient one, the forgiving one, all by herself. And when she let go, when she stopped begging for clarity, for closure, for consistency, that's when the healing started. You ever see a woman who just looks free, like she's breathing for the first time in years? That ain't revenge, that's peace. That's what it looks like when she stops carrying what wasn't hers to hold in the first place. Because truth is, she tried. Lord knows she did. She lowered her standards, quieted her voice, tolerated things she had no business accepting, all in the name of love. But now, she ain't doing that no more. Now she loves herself more than she misses him. And that glow people keep noticing, that's what happens when a woman starts sleeping peacefully again. When she starts laughing without holding back. When her phone's not filled with arguments or unanswered texts. That's what healing looks like when it finally reaches her spirit. She got her smile back, not because she found someone new, but because she found herself. Don't get it twisted, this glow didn't come easy. It came with nights she cried herself to sleep. It came with therapy, prayer, journaling, cutting off people she once loved deeply. It came with sitting in silence, facing hard truths, and admitting where she ignored red flags just to keep a connection alive. It came with work, the kind of emotional work most people run from. But she did it. And now she walks different, talks different, carries herself like she knows who she is again. And you know what's beautiful about it? She's not out here looking for revenge. She doesn't want to make him regret it. That's not even on her mind anymore, because once you really heal, you stop needing apologies. You stop needing validation. You stop needing closure from the person who hurt you. She made peace with the fact that he couldn't handle her love, and that's his loss to carry, not hers. Now she's too busy building, growing, thriving. She's glowing because she got out of survival mode and stepped into her power. She's glowing because she let go of who she thought she had to be for someone else and finally became who she was always meant to be for herself. That light, that's not revenge. That's what freedom looks like on a woman who finally remembered her worth. So when you see her now, don't say she changed. Say she recovered. Say she healed. Say she finally realized she was the prize the whole time, and now is living like it.